You see it on the license plates a lot. Virginia is for lovers. But what about that's the state of Virginia. What about the Hampton Roads? Those 7 cities there, which include Portsmouth, Chesapeake, Norfolk, Suffolk, Virginia Beach, Hampton, and Newport News. Wow, I remember all of those. But what about Virginia Beach in particular? Is that for lovers? I suppose all of Virginia is for lovers, right? That's why it's on the license plate for the state. It was funny. Virginia was, I think, if I remember correctly, it was featured on an episode of Rick and Morty, and they took over a whole town. I think that was pretty interesting. Speaking of taking over the whole town, there's is this the right lead-in for this? The Healthy Living Expo is coming to Virginia Beach. So, not necessarily taking over the whole town, but at Neptune Park, where you have the big statue of Neptune, and the oceanfront, is the first annual Healthy Living Expo in Virginia Beach. And it's a really great place. I started to notice that the spring break, or like some pre-spring break stuff, has been going on. The streets have been really crowded. The other day I was driving by and a lot of the streets were blocked off, and there was a huge police presence. And I stopped and got out and talked to a couple of officers, and they said, yeah, a lot of the young kids are coming out here, and we're just out here just to make sure everybody's safe. And then this one grocery store that I go to all the time, this guy said to me, he says, hey man, I saw you on TikTok. There's this video, it's got like thousands of views, and I saw you and they were focused on you for a while. And I thought that was interesting because just a few days before that, one of the owners of Badass Coffee of Virginia Beach told me the same thing. She said, you got to be careful out there. But all of the whole crowds and everything, like I said, pre-spring break, because Virginia is, it's pretty much a hotspot for tourists. There are a lot of people come out here and spend time. I mean, there are so many visitors. I get around to a lot of different hotels. I mean, I think I've been to almost every single hotel on Atlantic, which is the street right parallel to the ocean and to the ocean front as well. And, so the easternmost road that you can drive on. And it's, it is an incredible place. I got a little distracted because I was thinking of a friend of mine. He brought me a painting, and he came out and visited me a couple years ago, actually. And Curdy J, miss him. He got a hotel room, and we hung out there, and we ate some good food, and we went to the powerhouse boxing and kickboxing where I was training. We made some music there, and he's a cool guy. So rest in peace, Curdy J. And he's a really, really great guy. So but he came out there for a little mini vacation. He was out there for a couple days, and that's one of the things. It's got it's a great tourist destination. There are some, even though it's not my thing, I do know that there are a lot of really cool bars and restaurants out there. I did one time, I was playing my guitar at this park that I now train capoeira at, which is my version of capoeira, and I get into that some other time. And I met a nice woman there, and we went to dinner at a restaurant. I forget, it was some seafood type of restaurant. But that's the only time really. For some reason she was having a craving for crab legs, so that's what she got. And but I don't really go out like that to those places. I don't know what it is. But it's it's got a great nightlife. People do enjoy it. I from time to time do security work at the Green Parrot, and I have at some other places. But the Green Parrot is not on the oceanfront. It's much further up a little bit, probably maybe 10 to 15 miles north. But it's it's close to the ocean. But there are people there every night. And and the beach is decent. It's a really nice beach. And they've got a pier. I don't know if anybody goes fishing there. I haven't been. They have events out there, and they do their best to to bring people in and have nice family friendly activities. But it would be interesting with this Healthy Living Expo coming. What if we could make it so that Virginia Beach becomes a new wellness destination, like a new true wellness destination. Like there are parts of California that I've lived in, and they have these farmers markets, and then if you go to Santa Monica or certain parts, and people say it's like hippie town, or some places how Venice, California used to be. But it was because a lot of people were out there, and California has yoga and Pilates studios and gyms and smoothie bars and things like that everywhere, right? And so people think about, or used to at least at some point in time, certain parts of California as wellness destinations because they have retreats, mountain retreats, desert retreats. I've been to a monastery out there, one of the ones that was founded by Thich Nhat Hanh, and it was called Deer Park Monastery in Oceanside. And so California, has that progressive vibe and lots of wellness destinations. And Virginia Beach seems like it would be prime for that. There are small clusters of places that have, you'll have a yoga studio, Pilates studio, a massage place, all right next to each other, but you don't see, swarms of people out there. They don't look as busy as they could be, or as I would say, as they should be. And so it would be great that, more awareness could be brought to this. It's not just a place where, people come out here to get entertained and go to the beach and go to the clubs. But what if they could get educated and elevate, especially something that is really lacking with many of us is understanding healthy living and wellness. So that's what this, I feel like, is going to be one of the great advantages of having the Healthy Living Expo make its way here to Virginia Beach. So you might be asking, and I've been to one before, but in California, once again, I was at something actually called a Healthy Living Expo. But what is a Healthy Living Expo exactly? What does that do? What does it mean for anybody? So basically, it's a city-approved, community-centered wellness event. That's what it is. And so the city of Virginia Beach says, yeah, come on. We think it's a good idea for you to have this event, have these stations, these demonstrations, activations, booths, and these, you've been to an expo before, the kiosk, almost like how they have the farmers market, and everybody sets up like pop-up shops, and there are going to be various different activities. And so, it has some very specific functions, which is, of course, one, to get people to gather, and when people get together, they can share their different experiences, can learn about the various different healthcare providers that are in the area, and learn about different wellness brands. There's also going to be, a lot of different educators and local leaders, people who are at the forefront of these various different industries, but specifically focused around wellness. And the cool thing is that even if you just want to come and walk around, it's not like it's going to be closed off so that people can't access it. It's going to be free and open to the public, which is awesome. So it will definitely be something that you want to visit that weekend. I mean, it's primed. I think a lot of people, if they don't know about it ahead of time, are going to find out about it by accident because, if the weather is good, which I really, really hope it is. I really hope it's one of those days that gets forecast to be nice and hot and sunny where everybody's going to want to go out, and then they're pleasantly surprised to find that there's this event being put on by Coastal Virginia Events, right? And Coastal Virginia Events, they've done a lot of large scale community events out here, and they are, and Coastal Edge, and they I don't remember what it was last time that I've actually even really seen anything like this. I mean, they have, like I was saying before, they have various different events, but I don't know anything that's going to be like this. So, Coastal Virginia Events, and they've done a lot of large events. Oh yeah, and they're doing a collaboration with my new friend Marcella, who I met at Badass Coffee of Hawaii in Virginia Beach, that place on 18th Street in Cypress. And serendipitous, I went in there one day. I had some books or something on a stool. I don't think she saw it. She just kind of pulled up to the bar. It's like where they have the high stools and you can sit at one of the side bar where they have some seating there. And I just kind of walked over and started grabbing my stuff. And she was about to run away, and I said, "Hey, it's all good. We can share a space." I don't think I actually said it like that. I'm not that cool all the time. But anyway, we got to talking, and I found out about the event. And she's been in town more recently with family, and got onboarded into working with this event through some other connections she had. But those details I don't really know much about. But she's a strategic partner, and the one thing that I really can say is, like, sometimes people are just really cut out for certain things, because she's really passionate about about health. She talks about it all the time. She's also conscious, or maybe a little self-conscious, about wanting to get back into her most optimized state, although she looks really healthy. She's very concerned about, the impact on the community. She several times, actually, some of the things I said earlier, I'm a bit more influenced by what she said, which was, she's noticed that, there are some places around here that have wellness offerings, but Virginia Beach doesn't feel like a wellness destination. And that's one of the things that it actually really, I agree with her on this. It really feels like it's a place that is really primed for that. It's about time that Virginia Beach become a wellness destination. It would actually change the vibe of the entire place. People need to have healthier and more wholesome and family-oriented and uplifting activities and events, and that's the spotlight that needs to be put on Virginia. People need to be coming here almost like a healing mecca. We've got the Edgar Cayce Association for Research and Enlightenment. I think that's what it's called. I think that's what ARE stands for, right? But Edgar Cayce was this visionary, and I believe they're going to be involved in the event. And we've got other sponsors like Centara and things like that. So some big names are getting involved with it. But that's, like I said, sometimes people seem really cut out for it. It's like something that's very important to them, and it's better to have someone who is really interested in creating meaningful connections that go beyond the whole scope of business, right? That is I've actually often said this. There's a mission statement that I expanded into something, and I often say that, I am the steward of ethical and responsible businesses that generate excessive cash flow while serving purposes greater than money. So yeah, we want to be in business and earn money, and to or at least earn a living, right? But what about going beyond that? Which means basically creating something that not only makes a profit when it can and when done in the right way, but what about what the foundation of that is? Like, what are you starting? Which is something very interesting I like about what I've learned a lot from following Dan Kennedy, who's a marketer for a long time, where he says, look, it's, your job is to make the best product or provide the best service that you possibly can, and then to sell that to people, right? So that's, what he started with was make the best thing that you can make, serve the best way that you can serve. And that's really all you can ask for, except, if nobody knows about it, then, it kind of defeats the purpose. So that's where the marketing machine comes in, where you got to let people know about it. So the thing is that and like I was saying earlier, is to basically make it so that Virginia Beach is a wellness destination. And the only way that you can do that is by really creating a movement. Like an event is a one-time thing, right? Or an event can be annually, like this is setting up to be, where, this is the ambition, part of the ambition, the aspiration for it. But when you start it as a movement, right? And the movement is to make Virginia Beach a wellness destination, right? And, basically it's a place where people know that they can go, and there's going to be an abundance of healthy living and wellness, health and wellness opportunities for them, different things that they can explore, things that are evolving and changing, and that they can be involved in and know that they're going to feel better about it. And it's not going to be just about, drinking and getting hungover and being full of regret, and instead being invigorated. They come here, and it's not just partying, but people come here because they want to be changed for the better. And that's really what it's about. And that's how, that's part of starting a movement. The movement is to make it so that the overall vibe is, this is a healing center. And this is going to be, and the way, again, it's sort of like when how branding works, right? Branding is consistent so when people think about Virginia Beach, they'll think about it as an experience that is that the thing that people also, if they come here and they don't know beforehand that it is a wellness destination, that's what they're going to leave with, that feeling. That's the mark that is left. That's, this is what this signature event is for. And that's a great thing. And that also talks about what a movement is, right? Is that essence of being a wellness destination, that feeling where you can come here for health and healing and leave better than when you came. You leave knowing that, okay, even if you didn't know before, that Virginia Beach, especially in this oceanfront, the Vibe District, those areas, surrounding areas, this is a wellness destination. That's what I'm going there for. Yeah, I can go and party and get some good food and stuff like that, but overall, it is a place where you can uplift yourself. And so it's, and it's going to take some time, but sometimes things can shift pretty quickly once people feel. And I think that it's really we're at the threshold where a shift like this is much needed. And it's, a lot of things have been happening in the area. There are different farmers markets, and there's been music along the oceanfront. But it's also, again, doesn't have that spirit. I mean, there are places all over the beach, even as far up as going to Chicks Beach, like I said, and and that have their yoga and wellness studios and kickboxing places, but they don't seem to be thriving. I really feel, I hope, and I know that I think that they should be like bustling centers that's where people should mostly be frequenting. It would bring more life to people and the area. And so, you know, it's, I mean, here's the thing. I started talking earlier. I think I was, or at least it was on my mind. I don't know if it came out of my face, but so one of the things I'm teaching my style of capoeira. And one thing is that it's a way to take any kind of energy that could, be disruptive and channel it and focus it in a more constructive way. I know it definitely has been that way for me. And, for example, things like that, like if you think about it this way, if one person is positively influenced by healthy living, then it stands to reason that if groups of people got together and practiced healthy living or health and wellness practices, got involved with health and wellness practices, then that group would start growing for the better. Things like that can, now you expand that out to a city of people, and healthy cities, reduce violence because people are feeling better and they have healthy outlets. Healthy communities create stronger families, more opportunity. When people are engaging in healthy health and wellness practices, there are a lot more opportunities because now the activities that people are involved in, the type of commerce, right, the type of transactions that are happening are uplifting and healthier. And it creates a new type of, a replacement for some of the negative habits, the bad habits, the addictions, and instead replaces them with ones that are more constructive and productive. And that creates a cycle of upward spiraling opportunity. So, I mean, it's interesting too, because I've been feeling it as well. Like, personally, I have been experimenting with a lot of things, but one main underlying activity that I've maintained is training in martial arts. And a martial art that on its surface, if people look at it, it looks like it looks like capoeira, but it's a hybrid where I combine basically anything goes, and various different disciplines. Capoeira has embedded within it music, which is one of my favorite activities as well. And there's also a spiritual, psychological component, which I put under the category philosophy, spirituality, and science as metaphysics. But I've been feeling compelled more and more to more overtly make that my lead-in with everybody that I encounter. Even when I was working as a personal trainer at One Life Fitness, it's a great place. I still actually work out there now, but I didn't have the opportunities I didn't create them, but it just didn't seem like with the time constraints that I had as a trainer, and my brief stint as a group fitness instructor, to really do what I wanted to do. I really wanted to teach a capoeira-based program. And now it's gotten to, a tipping point where now I'm just doing it out at the park, which, like I said, in the Vibe District across from the coffee shop, Badass Coffee of Hawaii. And so now I just go to the park, which is shares the same parking lot with Waring's Gym. And I got to talk to those guys too. So there's definitely a growing demand for the various different features that people will find at the Healthy Living Expo in Virginia Beach, May 2nd and May 3rd. And specifically, people are talking about more things such as, oh, that reminds me, there's an organic food depot, or it's called the Organic Depot. It's on Holland Road. Yeah, I'm definitely going to go there tomorrow. And so people are talking about preventive health. Mental wellness is a big thing, especially since a lot of things that have happened recently with COVID, and you'll hear a lot about the loneliness epidemic, and community connection is part of the remedy for the loneliness, which contributes to elevated mental wellness. And there's a lot of interest from a lot of, in the Hampton Roads area in general, and even nearby cities, Washington D.C., down in our neighbors also to the south in North Carolina. And they're also, this time of year, as I was saying, it's primed. This event is primed for that, because you're going to have a lot of visitors that are going to be staying in resorts and everything down here, and they'll be pleasantly surprised to find that there is a Healthy Living Expo going on right in their backyard. Okay, so I know that there are going to be quite a few engaging activities to find here. Some of my favorite things, there's going to be various different wellness vendors and brands out here. I mentioned the Edgar Cayce's ARE, the Health Center and Spa, is going to be there. And Centara is involved. Orange Theory Fitness, which has become huge. And, there's also something I saw, I think, was it a Reiki Wellness and Meditation Center? I think I've seen. I got to open up the site again. But something I'm really excited about, though, is when I first came across the website and I was looking at it. By the way, I got to make a habit. I want to mention this more, but it's healthylivingexpovb.com. healthylivingexpovb.com. But one of my favorite parts that's going to be here is the furry friends activities. So what was something that was updated from the last time I took a look, there's the Coastal Edge Furry Friends Walk. So that's going to be awesome. They're having the event, you're going to be moving, it's about community, making a difference for animals in need. And something they say on the site is that every step you take helps support local pet rescue efforts, giving abandoned and homeless pets a second chance at loving homes. And the thing that I saw before that, and the first rendition of the site that I saw, was the Furry Friends Yoga. So at Neptune Park, they're going to be having a yoga session, and with some of the furry friends are going to be out there. And, and so you'll be able to also adopt so they're going to have beach bunny and puppy yoga on Neptune Park at 31st Street on Virginia Beach. So that will be really, really cool. 31st Street is located at an interesting thing. It's one street. Laskin is over there. It's it's actually like a sort of like a cutoff point. Once you get to Laskin, everything kind of changes, and you get more residential. It's like the end of the oceanfront. At least that part of it there. I mean, it goes up a little bit further. You have some other bigger hotels up there, but it and the ocean walk extends up there. I ride my bike up there from time to time. But that's, those are some of the things that I'm excited about. And I know that they're going to have a 5K run. There's a Coastal Edge 5K run. So that's going to be a thing, which I haven't done a 5K in a while. It's 3.1 miles. I was talking to somebody about that before. So those are some of the, and there's going to be all kinds of stuff people can get. Learn more. There's going to be various different resources out there. I'm going to be speaking and doing a capoeira demonstration. I've got, I've got the agreement, but hopefully I'll have Philip Sessions from Biramar Yoga coming to play capoeira out there with me and help him to promote his group, which is in Portsmouth, Chesapeake area. And then, yeah, I mean, it's going to be, there's going to be all kind. I mean, I'm really excited. It's kind of overwhelming about all the stuff that's going to be there. But, I mean, you get the vibe, right? It's going to be yoga, there's going to be walks, there's going to be healthy food, there's going to be meditation sessions, there's going to be music. And then people are going to be gathering and talking about all this stuff. And basically, it's an alternative to the, what could be seen as a little bit more, as not as productive partying, It's a healthy alternative to some of the other things you can get involved in a nightlife. Although, everything's going to be available on the beach. It's not like they're going to shut down all the businesses there. But it's just going to provide some extra options. And so, again, I mean, I really think that it's about time, and it's about time as well. The timing is right to position Virginia Beach as a dynamic coastal destination, right? So it's not just about the partying, but people come here and see it as a wellness destination. That's one of the things that when people think of Virginia Beach, they should think of it as a wellness destination. The same way how people travel to different places because they think, I want to go on a retreat. And when somebody thinks, I want to go on a wellness retreat, I want to go to a wellness spa, Virginia Beach, Virginia should be one of those places that pops up in their mind. That's what this place is perfect for that. Just the way that it's laid out. It's almost in some ways that the ambience, the environment, the atmosphere is, it has the potential for that hasn't yet been tapped into. And it's about time for that. For Virginia Beach to be that place when people think of where, Virginia Beach should be listed in a catalog of places when people open up. Like, imagine, I don't know if there's a magazine like this or not, but imagine just a magazine online or offline, whatever, that people open up and it's like wellness destinations, wellness retreats and things like that, where people go to, I don't know what the different places in the world people actually go for all these wellness retreats. I lived in California for a long time, so they were all over the place. Everything felt like a retreat. There were yoga studios everywhere. I was a yoga advisor at Yoga Works, so I went to yoga classes at all kinds of locations for Yoga Works and other places I went. I also, was a trainer and a group fitness instructor of various different formats at gyms in California, at Meridian Sports Clubs, at Bodies in Motion, and so I got to, and I took advantage of going to all these different various locations, and went to monasteries there and other things. So it's really something that I enjoyed about it. Maybe somebody like me, it's something that a lot of people need. So That's the part of the bigger picture, is that it's that, you can look at it like this, right? Like, why not? I think this is what I was looking for. It should be a destination for wellness tourism. Is that such a thing already? If not, let's coin that for Virginia Beach. But I'm sure that the term has been used already. I can't be that clever. But wellness tourism. So Virginia Beach needs to be seen as a destination for wellness tourism. That's it. That's what I'm locking in right there. That's going to be amazing for Virginia Beach to be viewed. Virginia Beach needs to be put on the map as, in the state of Virginia, as Virginia is for lovers. Virginia Beach is a destination for wellness tourism. If people are going to come here as tourists, it should be the wellness tourist. And a lot of times it's going to be actually great for the economy. If people come here, they tend to spend more, especially when they know that they're going to get results that are going to improve their health. I mean, it's one of the things that most people want is, if you're not feeling good, one of the things you want more than anything else is to feel better. And that right there is just going to ripple out to all the communities everywhere. You're going to have healthier people everywhere, the stronger communities, because people are going to be getting together and communicating about higher ideals, right? And the whole place is going to be safer because you have a culture and an atmosphere that is vibrating at a higher frequency, to put it one way. So that's what is coming up here for this Healthy Living Expo in Virginia Beach. Again, Healthy Living Expo VB.com. So, listeners, share this information. I am definitely going to make a more concise version here, where I'm going to basically read from a script, or just to touch on some bullet points to get a really easy memo out there, so people don't have to hear all this other fluff that I'm doing. But so it doesn't matter if you're if you have a brand, a wellness brand. I'm thinking about places like One Life Fitness, like Awaken Inside the Gym, Anytime Fitness. Who else am I calling out? I mean, there's a few places out here. My people over at Powerhouse Boxing and Kickboxing. I'm thinking about all the locals and people that I met. I met a lady who owns, is it not Anytime Fitness? Is that what it's called? I forget. But there are so many other places and so many. Tropical Smoothie Cafe. I mean, they have healthy options there. All the there's different yoga studios. I'm going to have to visit these yoga and Pilates studios. I'm going to be really proactive about this. So, and so all healthcare providers, like we got Centara coming out here, right? Any kind of community leaders, people who are parts of like the Chamber of Commerce or lead any other groups, or teachers, right? The heads of spiritual organizations like the Edgar Cayce, ARE is going to be out here. And, or any people who are passionate about wellness, right? There's different opportunities. You can come out here to partner and to help out, basically with any kind of resources. Maybe you have volunteers or anything else like that. Other resources, you can participate, set up your own installation booth, and pop up and things like that. There you can collaborate long term. So starting here now, whether you're a partner or you're participating or both, you can get involved in the long term planning so that by the time next year rolls around, it's an even better event and it has even wider reach, and maybe it starts to branch out to the surrounding areas. I mean, we got Norfolk right there, Chesapeake is right around the corner, right? So we just start to get, the greater Hampton Roads involved, and because I want to make this bigger. Like, what else what other better ideal can we have, except for turning this into, like I said, it's a wellness tourism destination, and letting that be the vibe that's here. So people feel safer, people feel healthier, people feel stronger, people feel more connected. And so again, I encourage everybody to check out Healthy Living Expo VB.com. There's more information on there. HealthyLivingVB.com for more information about the Healthy Living Expo coming to Virginia Beach this summer of 2026, May 2nd and May 3rd. I'm Hakeem Ali-Bocas Alexander.